Hello and welcome back. My name's Evan Daly. There's a lot of speed modeling Blender tutorials online where you can just watch somebody model an object at high speed and they don't explain what they're doing. You just sort of see pieces flying together and stuff like that. I kind of hate those things because they're really hard to replicate. If you were trying to build a house, you wouldn't want to see a house come together at high speed. You would want to talk to the engineer and actually learn about each individual piece that went into the house. So with this video, I'm going to try to take it really slow and walk you guys through the entire process from start to finish of modeling a chain gun. So first off, we're just going to find a reference image. I'm going to search chain gun, go to images, and I really like this one. So we're going to use that as the reference image. I just think this looks awesome. And we're not going to completely model it with every single detail, but I just want to help you guys get comfortable with Blender. So first of all, I'm going to hit A and delete everything. Then I'm going to hit Shift A and add a cube. Then I'm going to hit Tab to go into edit mode. And you know what? I guess I don't actually need a cube. So I think I'll start with a cylinder. If we look at the reference image, the whole thing is pretty much cylindrical. So I think I'll just start with this rim. So I hit Shift A, created a cylinder mesh, and now I can hit Tab to go into edit mode. I'm going to hit R. I want the negative y-axis to be the front of this turret, so I'm going to rotate it around the x-axis. RX 90, and then I'm going to hit S, scale on the y-axis by about 0.2, and let's make that a little bit wider. S, Y, bring that up to about there, and then I'm going to hit Control Tab, go into face mode, and then just extrude some of these sections, just to give it a little bit more variety, like this. And we don't have to make it exactly the way he does. So yeah, I'm just gonna I'm gonna extrude there, and then right click on this, extrude like that, scale that out a little bit, and then just kind of do the same thing here. E to extrude, and scale, just to get some variety. E to extrude, E to extrude. Doesn't have to be symmetrical. Alright, so now let's create a bump on this. I'll just right click here, I for inset, scale that to about there, S, Y, bring that in, E to extrude, E to extrude, I to inset, S to scale on the y-axis, E to extrude in, I to inset, E to extrude out. Alright, so now we've got some varying geometry around the barrel of the chain gun turret. We can do the same thing here. Inset, extrude in, inset, extrude out. Now let's create some rings here. To do that, I'm just going to click on this face, hit Shift D to duplicate, right click to release it, and then S to scale in. E to extrude that, and then I can hit Control L to select the whole thing, Shift D to duplicate, middle mouse click to lock it to a certain axis, and then drag it like this, pull that down, And this isn't very symmetrical. I'm going to hit 1 to go into the front view, and then 5 to make it orthographic. And basically what that does is it takes out the effect of like perspective warping the image. So now we can see it more clearly. Control L, Control L, Control L. Alright, so now 5 again to go back into perspective mode. Let's see. These sort of come out and then it looks like they go back in and then they come out again. So for each one of these, I'm going to hit I. That's weird. There we go. And then I'm going to extrude that inward, inset one more time, and then extrude outward. And then just keep that going. And we can select this face and then Shift D to duplicate that, and then middle click to lock it to this axis. And then I'm going to extrude that. And you know, actually, I think I'm going to completely undo that. Hit, I'll select one of these faces and hit Control L, and then I'll just duplicate that whole piece. Middle click one more time to lock it in. And I think I'll pull it to about there, and then hit S to scale. And then I'm going to hit R to rotate along the y-axis and just spin it like that. And then I'm going to right click on this face, pull that back in, extrude that out, scale it down to about there, extrude it out one more time, scale it back up, extrude that out, and then extrude one more time and scale it down just very slightly. And then I think I'll hit Control L and scale this whole piece up just a little bit. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I'm going to select this face, extrude out, and scale in. And then I'm going to go back into edit mode, take this face, Shift D, middle click to lock it to the axis, pull it to about here, extrude, extrude again, scale in, extrude out, scale out, extrude, I'm going to hit Control L and scale this whole piece out. Extrude one more time, right click to release, S to scale out, and then E to extrude again. Alright, this is coming along. Now I'm going to take each of these faces by shift right clicking. I'm going to hit E for extrude, S to scale in, I to inset, E to extrude one more time, and then I'll pull that back just slightly, scale it in. And I don't like the way it's scaling toward the center. That's not what I want. So down here, I'm going to click on pivot point and change that to individual origins. And then when I scale, they scale relative to their own center. and then I'm going to extrude that backward, I think to about there. There. Alright, I think this is looking pretty good so far. Let's add some more interesting geometry along this piece. So I'm just going to right click here, 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 and here. Extrude those out. Scale in. And then I'll just take this one and this one. Inset with I. Scale along the y-axis. And then E to extrude one more time. And let's make one more piece here. E, S. Alright. Now next we could do this piece, or we could do this piece. I think I'll do this piece next. So for that, I'm going to go back into edit mode. I'm just going to click here and hit Shift D. I'm going to left click to lock that in, and then S, Y, and scale that way down. And actually, undo that. I think I want to get a lot more of this piece. So, and actually now I'm not sure if I want to do it along all of them at once. That might actually make more sense. So why don't we do that? You can hit C to do paint select, and then just run down that face. Deselect this one, C, run down that face, like that. And I'm just trying to get the outside of it. Shift right click to deselect faces. Alright, so I have most of the outer edges of these faces. Now I'm going to hit Shift D, right click, S, Y, pull that in, and then change the median point back to active element, scale out, there we go. E to extrude. And now it's doing this weird flashing thing. I think that's because it messed up the normals on this face. So I'm going to hit Control L and then Control N to recalculate normals. And it's still not happy, so I'm just going to undo that. It doesn't like the way we made that. I'm not really sure what the best way to go about that would be. I think I'll skip that for now. I might come back to it later. Alright, so now we could do this piece, or we could work on this piece here. You guys probably don't want to watch too much more of this, so I think I'll just focus on this piece, and then I'm just going to leave out this and this for this video. So how do we make this? Well, that's just a cylinder. This is a cylinder. These could be created with boxes or just random geometry. So let's just start with this primary cylinder. Right click here, Shift D, scale that in, extrude out. Extrude, right click, scale out, extrude back. Let's right click here, I to inset, S, Y, scale down, E to extrude that in, And then we can just hit Shift A and create another cylinder. RX90, scale that down. Scale it down again. Alright, and then just make sure that your pivot point is back on median point. Makes things a little bit easier. Alright, then I'm going to click on this face, pull that back, extrude, right click, scale up, extrude, pull it this way, extrude, right click, scale in, extrude, scale in, pull that back, extrude, scale in, extrude that out, E one more time, S to scale, E again, alright, I think that's a pretty great start. I want to make sure that there's no messed up normals, so I'm going to hit N, go to shading, and then click on backface culling. And if there were any faces that were backward, they would have disappeared. It doesn't look like that happened, so I think we're good. And then I'm just going to I'm going to hold Alt and right click here, Shift D to duplicate, scale that out, and I just want to make like a quick makeshift chain running from here to here. So I'm just going to pull that up. Control Tab, go into Edge mode. Select this edge, pull that up, pull that up. I can hit Control plus to increase my selection. Shift right click here, Shift right click here, and that gave me this lower face. Actually, I'm just going to hit Z to go into wireframe mode. That'll make this easier. Maybe not. Control plus. I want this one. There we go. Z to leave wireframe mode. And then I'm going to hit Control L to select that whole chain, scale it way down on the y-axis, and then hit E to extrude, and then S to scale in to give it some thickness. And you can see that's being shaded kind of weird. And if we click on backface culling, it disappears. That's because every single face in this is actually facing the wrong direction. So to fix that, we just select it and then hit Control N, and that recalculates the normals for that object. And I think I'm going to take this whole thing, Control L, and then Shift right click here, Control L. And then I'm going to hit Shift D and bring that over to the other side so that we have basically two copies of the same thing. And then I'm going to hit S, X, -1 to flip it around. And Control N to recalculate the normals. Alright, and then I want to add this piece down here. Go back into edge mode. Actually, let's go into face mode. I'm going to select these two faces, Shift D to duplicate, and then middle click to drag that straight down. E to extrude like that. Control L, scale all of that up. Pull it down. E to extrude. Pull that out. E to extrude. Control L. And then I'm just going to extrude one more time, take these two faces and extrude them up into the body of the weapon. And I'm going to hit Z, and then C, and select all these faces. Well, maybe not. I kind of want to just move this whole piece back this way. So I'll just Control L, move that over like that, and then deselect these pieces. And to do that, I hit C, and then I'm just scrolling past it and clicking the middle mouse wheel, like that. For some reason it won't let me deselect that piece. There we go. Now I'm just going to pull that back to about there. And I'm going to take this whole piece and scale it along the x-axis. And if you're ever trying to scale with the hotkeys, keep in mind Blender is an extremely hotkey friendly application, so you should always try to learn as many of the hotkeys as you can. If you're trying to scale in one direction and you're not sure which axis it's on, just refer to this this gizmo down here. So I'm trying to stretch it horizontally this way. So just by moving around I can tell that that's along the x-axis. S, X, move away from center like that. Alright, I think that's looking pretty good for now. Control L, scale this one down. Control L, scale this one up. In my opinion, this isn't really an exact science. I just kind of do whatever I feel like doing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Alright, I like the way that looks. We'll probably continue with this in the next episode with texturing it. And then also, if you're ever trying to get rid of this grid, right now I don't like the way it looks. So to fix that, you can hit N to bring up this display panel. Click on display, and then bring down lines to 0. And I think I'm just going to add a little bit more detail into this piece before I cut off the video. So I'm going to select this and then Shift D to duplicate, bring it up, scale it down, pull it in like that, E to extrude, Control L, Control N. right click here, 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 E to extrude, S to scale along the y-axis, E to extrude, I don't like the way that looked. One more time, E to extrude, left click to lock it in, S, Y, E to extrude again. That looks better. E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude, extrude one more time, scale it down, pull that out. And then if I go into edge mode, so Control Tab, click on edge, and then if you Alt right click here, you can select a whole ring and scale that in. Alt right click, scale in. Go back to face mode, E, S, E, S, E. And I just keep jumping back. I'm hitting tab to jump back into object mode, just to see the object as a whole. E to extrude, E to extrude, S to scale. Right click here, shift right click here, Control L, S, Y, scale that out. Yeah, I think this is looking pretty good. Let's also add some bullets onto the side of this barrel very quickly. So to do that, I'm just going to go back into face selection mode, select this face, Shift D, scale that way down, scale down, extrude, scale that down just a little bit, extrude again, scale way down, extrude, scale down, extrude one more time, and scale that all the way down. Then I'm going to hit Control L, line that up, push it forward, S, Y, scale that out. I think it's far too pointy at the end, and it doesn't have that sort of lip right there, so we're going to fix that. Go back into edit mode, Control Tab to go into edge mode, and then if we zoom in, we can hit Alt right click here to select that ring, and then I'm just going to scale that out. Then I'm going to Alt right click on this ring, pull that back, and scale that out like so. That's not what we want. Alright, so back into edge mode, Alt right click, pull that back. We can hit Control R to create a ring loop. Scale that up. Alt right click here, scale up, pull that back. Yeah, that's much more bullet-like. And then I'm going to hit Control Tab, go into vertex mode, and just take all of the vertices at the end. I can hit B for box select, and let's just pull that back. And then I'm going to go back into edge mode, Alt click here, pull that back. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Scale that down too. So then I'm just going to Control L to select the whole object, Shift D, and just move that around. And I guess we want them like side by side. Shift D, move that up, Shift D. Now keep in mind we're adding a lot of polygons with these bullets. So you wouldn't want to use this for like any sort of mobile game. Total we're at 4,000 vertices and 10,000 triangles. That's going to take up a lot of processing power. So this would definitely be strictly for like simulations or PC video games. Alright, we're almost done. Control L, Shift D, Shift D. And I think I'll put one more back here. Alright. It's not bad. One more thing that I want to do is bevel this edge because I think it looks too blocky. So I'm just going to select that whole face, or that whole edge, and then hit Control B and pull that out. Same thing on this side. Right click, right click, right click, right click. Control B, pull away from the center like that. And I think I'll do it on the front face too. Control B. And one more time on the back. Control B. Alright, that is a medium to high poly chain gun turret. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something interesting, and I'll see you. Whoa, what happened here? Before I cut this off, I'm going to address whatever the hell happened to this. I think that might have happened when I think I had this selected as well as this edge selected when I beveled it. So you can see if I take any of these, Control L, and then select this edge and Control B, it makes sense to happen on a single edge, but if you have it on a bunch of edges, things just sort of explode. So to fix that, I'm going to hit Control L, delete that bullet, Control L, and just replace it like that. Okay. And I guess I better fill in the gap down here too. Alright. Even this out a little bit. Well, I hope you guys learned something in this video. If you thought it was interesting, feel free to thumbs up. And if you want me to cover anything specific in future videos, please let me know. Thanks guys. Bye.